Hello, everybody, and welcome to Flora Growth's channel. Just want to let you guys know what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be running through company updates, industry updates, answering any questions you guys got for us. If you have any during any of these series, don't be afraid to send them over to us. And of course, introducing members of the team. So who better to kick us off for video number one than Louise Merchant, the director and CEO of the company. Louise, how are you doing over there today?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well myself. I really feel like the best way to kick this off is to kind of paint a picture of your past experience for everybody. Let us know what really motivates you as a businessman and talk about some of your previous wins.
Yeah, look, I've had the fortune to have a very diverse career. I was born and raised in Colombia, and my background is in engineering, but I came to the States to get my MBA almost 2 decades ago, and have had the opportunity to work for retail and CPG companies for the last 15 years. Worked for companies such as Target and Macy's, where I had the opportunity to be exposed to multiple disciplinary and functions of those organizations, including logistics, operations, and sales. At Macy's, I had a number of roles that were very meaningful and impactful for my career as CEO. That included running the sales organization in beauty for Macy's, about $2.5 billion in revenue and over 20,000 sales colleagues across the entire continental United States. And in my latter roles at the company out in New York, I was responsible for corporate strategy as well as workforce management and customer experience, which included the allocation of human capital across all functions in the organization.
Interesting. Yeah. So it sounds like you're bringing a lot of experience to the team here. And as your time here at Floral Growth, you guys went public on the NASDAQ, added over 10,000 new investors. But tell me the origin of how that story started for you at Floral Growth and what made you decide to jump on board?
Yeah, look, from a personal perspective, looking at what my career could look like, I always wanted to work with a company that could connect me back to my home roots. I wanted to leverage in a much broader scale my international background, my language skill set, and of course, the idea of working in international business had always appealed to me. At that point in time, just about 5-6 years ago, the cannabis industry in Colombia was a nascent industry. There was a lot of changes in the regulatory environment, and several of my colleagues and professional friends that I used to know in Colombia started mentioning the opportunity of getting engaged into cannabis, and that led to me meeting the founder of the company, a couple of the founders, which had multiple meetings in New York, and they had the idea, which was basically a deck, and I supported the company taking that idea into what is now a global market leader in the cannabis space.
Yeah. So now that you're in this role of CEO, tell me like what that actually looks like on the day-to-day, some of the things you handle.
Well, of course, as you probably could imagine, Michael, it's a very complex and fast-paced role. I think I always wanted from a personal and professional perspective to have a role that would allow me to impact in a very broad scale the lives of others in a positive way. And I get to do that in many ways. The first one, the people that work with me that are very talented, and having the opportunity to have the lead the strategy on a human capital perspective to architect the future of several hundreds of employees that work for Flora and are working tirelessly to make this company a global leader is a tremendous honor. And because we are an international company, that gives me the opportunity to also put together a very diverse team. And we have been able to do so not only at the board level, but also on the executive level, all the way to the teams that are working in our field. So that's very, very rewarding. But from the other side, we're working in cannabis. Cannabis is presenting itself as a generational opportunity. It's allowing people to not only have alternative methods to treat many ailments that are now being treated with opioids or medications that are actually harmful and create lots of addiction, but also that provide safe and alternative methods to the recreational space. So that having the opportunity to influence communities in that way is a very rewarding experience for me.
Yeah. Going to your first point there, human capital and the proper leveraging of people's strengths and weaknesses is one of the sides and one of the most important roles as the CEO, as the people who work in the company are the real asset. They're the ones who make things happen. So glad we see eye to eye on that. And then on to the second point, yeah, the cannabis space is a really interesting space, right? A lot of people look at just strictly the recreational side or strictly the medicinal side. There's a lot of versatility there.
Yeah, Michael. I mean, the uses for cannabis, and I think there's a lot of research that it's still in the nascent stages. Once again, there's over 100 molecules that have been identified in the cannabis plant. There are multiple uses, not only on the medicinal and wellness space, but also on the industrial space. You've seen movements in terms of like clothing and plastics and paper, construction materials that are being put in place. Cannabis is a very versatile plant, and it will allow many industries that are suffering from creating a massive footprint from an ecology perspective, and to move into this space, into this plant that is now providing with better alternatives of use that have a lesser footprint, that are far more resilient, that are better for the environment, that are better for consumers. And I think this is just the beginning of what it will be an incredible rise in the cannabis industry.
Agreed. I feel like unfortunately a lot of regulations over the past, I guess, 100 so years has slowed that down. But now as things let up and people are kind of accepting it, you're right. There's a lot of room for explosive growth in this industry now. A lot of use cases available that we can dive into over the course of these interviews here. And on the next one, Luis, I'd like to just dive deeper into the company itself. But for now, I think you did a great job of sharing your background and your motivations. But if anyone has any questions, don't be afraid to send them over to us. Luis, do you have anything else you want to add to cap us off?
No, thank you for having me, Michael, and I look forward to these conversations.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned for another video coming soon. And Luis, have a wonderful day.
You too, Michael.